Captain Lee Daeho stood on the bridge of the Terra Nova, watching the massive alien ship fill his view screen. The vessel was easily 10 times larger than his own ship and covered in strange blue lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. He had never seen anything so beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Behind him, Commander Park Min-ji checked her instruments for the 100th time, while Ambassador Kim Ji-won adjusted her formal diplomatic robes. "They call it the Dominion's pride," Min-ji whispered to Daeho. "Our scanners can barely get through their hull. Whatever technology they have is far beyond ours." Daeho nodded but kept his face calm. He knew his crew was watching him, and they needed to see confidence even if he felt none. This was humanity's first contact with alien life, and everything depended on the next few hours. Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades, but no amount of training could make this feel normal. The communication screen flickered to life, and suddenly, they were face to face with beings from another world. The first alien looked like a giant insect with 4 arms and eyes that glowed red in the darkness. Its mouth moved in ways that seemed impossible as it spoke through their translation system. "I am Admiral Veltar of the Galactic Trade Confederation," the creature said. "You may consider this a great honor. We do not usually speak directly with primitive species." Kim Ji-won stepped forward with a polite bow. "We are honored by your presence, Admiral. I am Ambassador Kim Ji-won representing Earth and humanity. We welcome this opportunity for peaceful contact." Veltar made a sound that the translation system called laughter, but it sounded more like metal scraping against stone. "Peaceful contact. How quaint. Tell me, human, do you understand what you are looking at?" "Your ship is impressive," Kim Ji-won replied carefully. "This ship could destroy your entire planet in minutes," Veltar said. "But we are not here for destruction. We are here for business." Another alien appeared on the screen. This one looked like a giant lizard covered in green scales that shifted color as it moved. Its yellow eyes seemed to look right through them. "I am Trade Minister Thex," the lizard said. "We have studied your species from a distance. You show promise as workers, but your technology is laughable. These metal boxes you call ships would not survive 1 minute in real space combat." Park Min-ji felt her hands clench into fists but kept her voice steady. "Our ships have served us well in our solar system." Thex made the same scraping laugh as Veltar. "Your solar system is a backwater corner of space. You have never faced real dangers or real enemies. Look at your weapons." The screen showed an image of human laser cannons. "These would barely scratch our shields. Your fastest ships move like crawling insects compared to ours." More aliens appeared on the screen. Some looked like walking trees with branches for arms. Others seemed to be made of living crystal that reflected light in rainbow patterns. Each species looked more advanced and powerful than anything humanity had ever imagined. "The Confederation controls over 300 star systems," Veltar continued. "We have been traveling between worlds for thousands of years while you humans were still hitting rocks together. Your entire civilization is like a child playing with toys." Ambassador Kim Ji-won maintained her diplomatic smile, but Daeho could see the tension in her shoulders. "We may be new to space travel, but we are eager to learn and trade with peaceful neighbors." "Trade?" Thex repeated the word like it tasted bad. "Yes, we have a trade proposal for you. Earth will provide 70% of all resources you extract from your planet. In return, we will provide protection and guidance." 70% seems quite high, Kim Ji-won said carefully. Veltar's forearms spread wide. "You misunderstand the situation, human. This is not a negotiation. This is us being generous. Species who refuse our protection often find themselves facing much worse alternatives." The screen showed images of destroyed planets and burned cities. Daeho felt his stomach turn as he realized these were not simulations or movies. These were real places where real people had died. "Many species thought they were too proud to accept our generous offers," another alien said. This one looked like a floating jellyfish made of silver metal. "They learned the error of their thinking." Park Min-ji stepped closer to her captain. "Sir, we are receiving data streams from their ship. They are scanning everything about us, including our biological signatures and technological specifications." Veltar heard her and laughed again. Of course we are scanning you. We need to know exactly what we are dealing with. Your biology is simple but adequate for manual labor. Your technology is primitive but could be improved with proper guidance. You speak of us like we are animals, Kim Ji-won said, and for the first time her diplomatic mask slipped slightly. Are you not? Thex replied. Your species has never left its birth system. You have no real weapons, no real ships, no real knowledge of the galaxy. You are exactly like animals who have never seen predators before. The crystal alien spoke up with a voice like wind chimes. At least you are not ugly like the Krek species. They had tentacles growing from their faces. Quite disgusting. You humans might actually make pleasant servants once properly trained. Daiho felt his jaw clench but forced himself to stay silent. Everything was being recorded and Earth needed to see exactly what they were dealing with. Admiral Kang Hyunwoo back on Earth was watching this conversation and making plans based on what he learned. We will need time to consider your generous offer, Kim Ji-won said. Veltar's red eyes seemed to glow brighter. You have 72 of your hours to provide an answer. After that time, we will demonstrate what happens to species who waste our patience. And what would that demonstration involve, Daiho asked. Your outer colonies would be excellent examples, Thex said casually. The Mars settlement has 50,000 humans? The asteroid mining station's another 20,000? They would serve as perfect object lessons for the rest of your species. The threat hung in the air like poison. These beings were talking about murdering 70,000 innocent people, as casually as discussing the weather. Daiho realized that everything humanity had feared about hostile aliens was true, and worse than their darkest nightmares. 72 hours, Veltar repeated. Consider carefully humans. The galaxy is full of dangers and you are very, very small. The screen went dark, leaving the bridge of the Terra Nova in silence. Nobody spoke for several minutes as they processed what had just happened. Earth's first contact with alien life had just become a countdown to potential genocide. Kim Ji-won finally broke the silence. Captain, we need to return to Earth immediately. Already setting course, Daiho replied. Minji, what did you learn from their scans? Park Minji was studying her instruments with intense focus. They scanned us, but sir, we were scanning them too. I managed to get detailed readings on their ship systems, power sources, and defensive capabilities. Good work. Make sure that data gets to Admiral Kang the moment we reach Earth. As the Terra Nova turned toward home, Daiho looked one last time at the alien fleet that now filled Earth's outer solar system. Dozens of ships, each one capable of destroying cities, waited like sleeping giants. In 72 hours they would wake up, and humanity's real test would begin. The aliens thought humans were primitive animals playing with toys. They were about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones nobody sees coming. Captain Han Jong-soo floated in the command center of the Shadow's Edge, watching Earth grow smaller through the main viewport. His ship looked nothing like the Terra Nova or any other vessel in Earth's official fleet. Where normal ships were built, from steel and titanium, the Shadow's Edge seemed to be made from liquid darkness that shifted and flowed like living shadow. Distance from the alien fleet? Han asked his tactical officer. 50,000 kilometers in closing, Lieutenant Nam, Soo-young replied. They still show no sign of detecting us, sir. Engineer Chief Yoon Tae-hyun looked up from his station with a satisfied smile. The metamaterial hull is working perfectly, Captain. To their sensors, we look like empty space or at best a small asteroid. Han nodded and turned to watch the massive alien ships through their enhanced viewing system. The Confederation fleet had spread across Earth's outer solar system like a net, waiting to catch fleeing prey. 43 ships ranging from massive dreadnoughts to smaller patrol vessels, all bristling with weapons that could turn planets to ash. Dr. Choi, what have you learned about our new friends? Han asked. Dr. Choi Yumbi pulled up holographic displays, showing alien biology scans. The data Commander Park transmitted is fascinating, Captain. Each species has evolved completely different biological systems, but they all share critical weaknesses. The hologram showed the insect-like Veskari first. Admiral Veltar's species communicates entirely through pheromone signals. disrupt their chemical receptors and they become deaf and mute to each other. They also have distributed nervous systems, which means the right frequency pulse could cause total paralysis. Han studied the biological data with interest. Humans had been preparing for this day longer than the aliens realized. Project Shadow had been running for 30 years, ever since Earth's deep space monitors first detected alien signals from distant stars. What about the lizard creatures? Nam Soo-young asked. The Skordons, like Trade Minister Thex, are cold-blooded, but they have evolved past natural temperature regulation, Dr. Choi explained. They depend entirely on their ship's environmental systems. Overload those systems and they literally cannot function. Their metabolism shuts down within minutes. Yoon Tae-hyun laughed quietly. Biological warfare without actually killing anyone. I like it. The crystal beings are more interesting, Dr. Choi continued. They appear to be silicon-based life forms that process information through harmonic resonance. The right sound frequency could scramble their thought processes completely. Han absorbed all this information while watching the alien fleet patrol Earth's system. They moved in predictable patterns, showing no concern for potential threats. Why would they? As far as they knew, humans had no ships capable of challenging them and no knowledge of their weaknesses. Captain, we are receiving a transmission from Admiral Kang, the communications officer reported. Admiral Kang Hyunwoo's face appeared on the main screen, looking older than his 50 years. The stress of preparing Earth's defenses showed in every line of his weathered features. Captain Han, the diplomatic mission has returned. The aliens have given us 72 hours to surrender, or they begin destroying our colonies. How is Project Yi-Da Shadow proceeding? Phase 1 is complete, sir, Han replied. We have detailed scans of their fleet composition and biological data on all known species. We are beginning Phase 2 infiltration now. Good. Remember, Captain, the entire planet is counting on you and your crew. If this fails, humanity becomes a slave species at best. Understood, sir. We will not fail. The transmission ended, and Han turned back to his crew. These 43 men and women represented humanity's greatest achievement and its last hope. Each had been selected from thousands of candidates and trained for years in absolute secrecy. Yoon, how long until we can begin camouflage protocols? Hull reconfiguration is ready now, sir, the engineer replied. I can make us look like anything from a cargo container to a piece of space debris. The aliens will never know we are there. Make us look like a damaged asteroid, something small enough to ignore but large enough to hide sensor drones. The Shadow's edge began to change shape. Its hull flowed like water, reshaping itself into a rough, rocky surface complete with impact, craters and mineral deposits. Within minutes, the most advanced warship humanity had ever built looked like nothing more than a broken piece of rock floating through space. Stealth systems at full power, Nam Soo-young reported. We are invisible to their sensors and their eyes. Han smiled. The aliens thought humans were primitive because they judged technology by size and obvious power. They did not understand that human advancement came through cleverness and adaptation rather than brute force. Begin deployment of surveillance drones, Han ordered. I want to know everything about their ships. Crew rotations, security protocols, weaknesses in their formations, everything. Dozens of tiny drones, no larger than insects, launched from hidden ports in the Shadow's edge. Each one was designed to look like space dust or micrometeorites. They would attach themselves to alien ships and begin gathering intelligence while remaining completely undetected. Tech specialist Bae Hana monitored the drone deployment from her station. First wave of surveillance packages deployed successfully, Captain. We should have full penetration of their communication networks within 6 hours. Excellent. What about our friends on the surface? Major O and his Marine teams are standing by. The moment we identify priority targets, they can begin boarding operations. Han nodded and settled back to watch their enemy. The alien fleet continued, its lazy patrol patterns completely unaware that humanity's most dangerous predator was already among them. The Veskari ship closest to them was only 2 kilometers away and had no idea that tiny human drones were already attaching to its hull. Sir, I am detecting something interesting, Dr. Choi said from her station. The alien fleet is not as unified as they want us to believe. I am seeing distinct groups that do not communicate with each other and different technological signatures. Political divisions? Han asked. More than that. Some of these species clearly do not trust each other. The Veskari ships stay at least 10 kilometers from the Skordan vessels. The crystal beings have positioned themselves where they can monitor both groups. This was valuable intelligence. A divided enemy was a weak enemy, and humans had thousands of years of experience exploiting political divisions. Bay, can you identify their command structure? Working on it, sir. The Veskari appear to be an overall command, but each species maintains independent tactical control. If we could disrupt their interspecies communication, the whole fleet might fall apart. Han watched a small Skordan patrol ship pass within 500 meters of their position. The aliens aboard that ship had no idea they were being studied like specimens in a laboratory. Every weakness was being catalogued, every vulnerability mapped for future exploitation. Captain, incoming transmission from one of our surveillance drones, Nam Soo-young reported. We have successfully penetrated the main Veskari command ship. Han's smile grew wider. Show me what we have learned. The main screen displayed the interior of the alien flagship. Dozens of insect-like creatures scurried about their duties while Admiral Veltar stood at the center, giving orders in rapid pheromone bursts that appeared as colored clouds in their atmosphere. Audio translation coming online, Bayhana announced. Suddenly, they could hear Veltar speaking to his subordinates. These humans are even more pathetic than our initial report suggested. Their diplomats actually thought they could negotiate with us. Laughable. Another Veskari officer responded with what sounded like chittering laughter. Should we begin the demonstration early? The colonies would burn beautifully. No, Veltar replied. Let them suffer with anticipation. Fear makes all species more compliant. By the time we begin destroying their settlements, they will be begging to surrender. Han felt his jaw clench as he listened to aliens casually discussing the murder of innocent humans. These creatures viewed his entire species as nothing more than potential slaves or target practice. Sir, we are also receiving feeds from the Skordan ships. Bayhana continued. Trade Minister Thex is discussing resource extraction quotas with his subordinates. They plan to strip mine Earth's oceans for rare minerals. More intelligence flowed in as their surveillance network expanded. The aliens were not just planning conquest, but the complete exploitation of Earth's resources and the enslavement of its people. They spoke of humans like livestock to be managed and harvested. Captain, all surveillance drones are in position, Nam Soo-young reported. We have full coverage of the enemy fleet. Han looked at his crew and saw the same cold determination he felt burning in their eyes. The aliens thought humans were harmless primitives, but they were about to learn that the most dangerous predators are often the ones that hunt from the shadows. Begin Phase 3, Han ordered. It is time to show our guests what human creativity can accomplish. The first alien patrol ship disappeared during what should have been a routine sweep of Earth's outer asteroid belt. The Veskari vessel simply vanished from all sensors, leaving no trace of wreckage or distress signals. Admiral Veltar initially dismissed it as equipment failure or pilot error, but when the second ship failed to return, he began to worry. Where is Patrol Unit 7? Veltar demanded from his command chair aboard the Dominion's Pride. Unknown, sir, his communications officer replied with nervous pheromone bursts. Their last transmission was routine patrol status. Then nothing. Veltar's forearms drummed against his chair in agitation. In 300 years of Confederation expansion, he had never lost ships to primitive species. The humans barely had interplanetary travel and no weapons capable of threatening his vessels. Send a heavy patrol to investigate, he ordered. I want to know what happened. Unknown to Veltar, the Shadow's Edge was watching from less than 1 kilometer away, disguised as a chunk of metallic asteroid. Captain Han Jong-soo studied the alien response with satisfaction as 3 larger ships moved toward the area where their patrol had vanished. The hunt begins, Han said quietly to his crew. Lieutenant Nam Soo-young monitored the approaching alien ships from her tactical station. 3 Veskari heavy cruisers moving in formation. They are scanning everything in a 50-kilometer radius. Let them scan, Han replied. Yoon, are our surprise packages ready? Engineer Chief Yoon Tae-hyun smiled from his station. The debris field is prepared, Captain. To their sensors, it will look like the remains of a ship destroyed by asteroid impact. What the aliens would find was carefully constructed wreckage mixed with pieces of actual human technology, old satellite components and damaged hull plating. That would tell a story of primitive human ships trying to flee and being destroyed by space debris. It was a lie designed to make the Confederation feel safe while hiding the truth. Bay, how are our communication intercepts? Tech Specialist Bay. Hana pulled up displays showing alien communication networks. I have full access to their tactical frequencies, Captain. They are confused and starting to doubt their intelligence about human capabilities. The alien search ships reached the debris field and began detailed scans. Han watched through their surveillance drones as Veskari officers examined the wreckage and came to exactly the conclusions he wanted them to reach. They found traces of human DNA and primitive weapon signatures, Nam Soo-young reported. The aliens think a human ship was destroyed trying to escape through the asteroid field. Perfect, Han said. Now for Phase 2. Major O, are your teams ready? Major O Seungmin's voice came through the secure communication channel. Marine, Teams Alpha and Beta are standing by in stealth pods, Captain. We can board the nearest alien ship within 10 minutes. Do it. Remember, we want intelligence, not destruction. Get in, learn everything you can, and get out without being detected. 2 nearly invisible pods launched from the Shadow's edge toward the closest alien heavy cruiser. The pods use the same metamaterial technology as the main ship, making them invisible to alien sensors. Each pod carried 6 Marines equipped with advanced stealth suits and non-lethal weapons. Han switched his attention to the main display, showing the interior of the alien ship they were about to infiltrate. The Veskari crew moved about their duties completely unaware that human soldiers were approaching their vessel. Contact in 30 seconds, Major O reported. We are attaching to their lower hull near what appears to be a maintenance access port. The Marines had studied alien ship designs for months using intelligence gathered by their surveillance drones. They knew exactly where to enter and how to move through the ship without triggering security systems. We are inside, O reported, several minutes later. The ship's internal security is impressive but designed for external threats. They never expected anyone to board them in deep space. Through hidden cameras in the Marines' equipment, Han watched his soldiers move through alien corridors like ghosts. The Veskari crew continued their duties, never knowing that humans were recording everything they saw. Captain, we have reached their data center, O whispered. Beginning intelligence download now. Hana monitored the data transfer from her station. We are getting everything, Captain. Ship specifications, crew rotations, fleet communication codes, even their tactical doctrine manuals. This was information worth its weight in gold. The Confederation had never faced an enemy capable of stealth infiltration, and their security protocols had massive gaps that human Marines could exploit. Sir, we have a problem, Nam Soo-young announced suddenly. Long-range sensors are detecting a massive energy buildup from the main alien fleet. Han felt his stomach drop. Show me. The display showed the Confederation's dreadnoughts powering up their main weapon systems. Energy readings spiked across the entire fleet as they prepared for what could only be an attack on human targets. They are targeting the Mars colonies, Nam Soo-young reported with barely controlled anger. Estimated time to weapons range is 40 minutes. Han realized the aliens had grown tired of waiting for humanity's surrender. They were about to demonstrate their power by murdering 50,000 innocent people on Mars. Major O, abort your mission and return immediately, Han ordered. We need to accelerate our timeline. Understood, Captain. We have what we need anyway. As the Marine teams extracted from the alien ship, Han began planning humanity's first real strike against the Confederation fleet. The aliens thought they were about to teach humans a lesson about defying superior power, but they were about to learn that humans could be far more dangerous than they imagined. Bay, can you access the alien fleet's targeting systems? Working. On it, sir. Their security is good but not designed for human cyber warfare techniques. The main display showed Bay's progress as she infiltrated alien computer networks using methods the Confederation had never encountered. Human hackers had developed techniques specifically for dealing with non-human logic systems, and the aliens had no defenses against such attacks. I am in their navigation computers, Bay announced. I can make their ships see false targets or even redirect their weapons. Do it. When they fire at Mars, I want their weapons to hit empty space instead. Already working, sir. They're targeting. Computers will show successful hits, but their weapons will miss by several million kilometers. Han smiled grimly as he watched the alien fleet approach weapons range. The Confederation was about to fire the opening shots of a war they could not win, but they would never know they had missed their targets. Captain, the alien commander is broadcasting to Earth, the communications officer reported. Veltar's image appeared on screen as he addressed humanity with obvious pleasure. Your time has expired, humans. We will now demonstrate the cost of defying the Confederation. Watch as your Mars colonies burn. The alien dreadnoughts fired their main weapons in a coordinated barrage that should have turned Mars into a lifeless cinder. Massive energy beams lanced across space toward the red planet, while Veltar watched with satisfaction. But the beams struck empty space millions of kilometers from their intended target. To Earth's sensors, it appeared that Mars had been destroyed, but in reality the planet remained completely unharmed. The only damage was to Confederation credibility. Excellent work, Bay, Han said quietly. Now comes the real test. As the aliens celebrated what they thought was a successful demonstration, Han prepared to show them what human ingenuity could accomplish. The Shadow's Edge began moving toward the Confederation fleet, no longer hiding, but still invisible to their sensors. All stations prepare for combat operations, Han announced. We are about to even the odds. The ship's weapon systems came online, revealing capabilities the aliens had never imagined. Human scientists had spent 30 years developing technology, specifically designed to counter every known alien defense. Energy weapons that could adapt their frequency in real time. Missiles that could alter their targeting mid-flight. Defensive systems that could absorb and redirect enemy fire. Target the nearest Skordon patrol ship, Han ordered. I want a clean kill with minimal evidence. Target locked, Captain, Nam Soo-young replied. Adaptive plasma cannon ready to fire. Fire. Ayo. Beam of superheated plasma struck the alien ship with surgical precision. The weapon was tuned specifically to penetrate Skordon shield frequencies, and the enemy vessel simply vanished in a flash of light that looked like a reactor overload. Direct hit, sir. The target has been completely destroyed. On the main alien fleet, confusion erupted as sensors detected the destruction of one of their ships, but could not identify the cause. To their instruments, it appeared that the Skordon vessel had suffered a catastrophic accident. 1 down, 42 to go, Han said with cold satisfaction. As the Confederation fleet struggled to understand what had happened to their patrol ship, the Shadow's Edge moved into position for its next strike. The aliens thought they were hunting primitive humans, but the truth was exactly the opposite. The real hunters had finally revealed themselves, and the prey had no idea what was coming for them in the darkness between the stars. Admiral Kang Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship Defiant, watching the Confederation fleet through enhanced telescopes. Behind him, the largest battle group humanity had ever assembled waited for his orders. 50 ships ranging from heavy cruisers to assault carriers, all crewed by volunteers who knew they were probably flying to their deaths. Sir, the alien fleet is moving to intercept us, reported Captain Song Jinha from the tactical station. They appear confident about engaging us in open combat. Kang nodded grimly. Everything was proceeding according to plan, even though that plan required making the aliens believe they were about to achieve easy victory. Earth's conventional fleet was designed to look impressive while hiding humanity's true capabilities. Admiral Veltar is broadcasting on all frequencies, the communications officer announced. The insect-like alien appeared on the main screen with his 4 arms spread wide in what might have been triumph. Foolish humans, you have finally come. Out to face us directly. Your primitive ships will make excellent target practice before we finish conquering your pathetic planet. Admiral Veltar, Kang replied with perfect military courtesy. I am Admiral Kang Hyun-woo, representing Earth. Defense Command. We are prepared to discuss terms for your immediate withdrawal from our solar system. Veltar's laughter sounded like grinding metal. Terms? You are in no position to discuss anything human. Look around you. My fleet outnumbers yours 3-1, and each of our ships could destroy 10 of yours. Trade Minister Thex appeared beside Veltar on the screen. Your technology is centuries behind ours, Admiral. This battle will be over in minutes, and then we can begin the proper exploitation of your resources. Kang maintained his calm expression, while mentally counting down the minutes until Captain Han's real plan would begin. We shall see who has underestimated whom. The alien fleet moved into attack formation with predatory confidence. Massive dreadnoughts took center positions while smaller ships spread out to prevent any human vessels from escaping. They approached like wolves surrounding sheep, completely certain of their superiority. All ships prepare for combat, Kang ordered. Remember your training and trust in your equipment. The battle began exactly as the aliens expected. Human ships opened fire with conventional weapons that barely scratched Confederation shields, while alien return fire devastated Earth's formation. Within minutes, 3 human cruisers had been destroyed, and 2 more were badly damaged. Sir, we are taking heavy casualties, Captain Song reported. Their firepower is overwhelming our defenses. Hold formation, Kang replied calmly. Continue the attack. To any observer, it appeared that Earth's fleet was being systematically destroyed by superior alien technology. Veltar watched the slaughter with obvious satisfaction as his weapons tore through human ships like paper. This is almost too easy, the alien admiral broadcast. Your species fights bravely, but bravery cannot overcome such vast technological superiority. But deep within the Shadow's Edge, Captain Han Jong-soo was watching the battle with different eyes. Every destroyed human ship was actually a carefully constructed fake filled with explosive charges and remote control systems. The real crews had evacuated hours ago, leaving only automated systems to maintain the illusion of human presence. Phase 4 is proceeding perfectly, Han reported to Admiral Kang through encrypted channels. The aliens are completely focused on the decoy fleet. Good, Kang replied. How much longer until you are in position? 30 seconds, sir. All systems are ready for full revelation. The Shadow's Edge had been moving through the alien fleet for the past hour completely undetected. Han's ship was now positioned at the exact center of the Confederation formation, surrounded by enemy vessels that had no idea death was floating among them. Sir, the aliens are preparing to finish us, Captain Song announced. Admiral Veltar is moving his flagship into position for the killing blow. Kang watched the massive alien dreadnought approach with weapons charging for what would appear to be the final destruction of humanity's last hope. The timing had to be perfect for the revelation to have maximum psychological impact. All stations, this is Admiral Kang, he broadcast to both fleets. Execute Operation Shadowfall. Suddenly, the space around the Confederation fleet exploded into chaos. The Shadow's Edge decloaked directly in the center of their formation, revealing itself for the first time, as systems across the alien fleet began failing simultaneously. Lieutenant Shin Yura's voice echoed through every ship in the Confederation fleet, speaking in perfect Veskari pheromone language. Attention, Confederation forces. You are surrounded and your vessels are now under human control. Prepare to be boarded. Admiral Veltar stared in shock at the impossible sight of a human ship appearing from nowhere in the middle of his fleet. This is impossible. How did you get there? Our sensors detected nothing. Your sensors detected exactly what we wanted them to detect, Captain Han's voice replied through hijacked alien communication systems. Welcome to human space warfare. Across the Confederation fleet, ships began losing power as nanobotic viruses that had been planted weeks earlier activated simultaneously. Engine systems shut down, weapon controls froze, and life support systems switched to emergency power. Dr. Choi Yunbi's biological warfare protocols engaged as atmospheric processors throughout. The alien fleet began producing compounds harmless to humans but devastating to alien physiology. Veskari ships found their pheromone communication completely scrambled, while Skordon vessels began overheating as their environmental controls failed. What have you done to our ships? Trade Minister Thex demanded, as his own vessel began experiencing system failures. Engineer Chief Yoon Taehyun's voice answered from the Shadow's Edge. We have demonstrated human adaptability, Minister. Your technology is impressive, but it was designed by species that think in predictable patterns. Humans think differently. The alien fleet found itself completely helpless as ship after ship lost primary systems. Weapons that should have been capable of destroying planets could not even target the human vessels now moving freely among them. "This is impossible," Veltar repeated. "You are primitives. Your technology is centuries behind ours." "Our visible technology, perhaps," Admiral Kang replied as the real Earth fleet decloaked around the alien formation. "But you never bothered to look for what we kept hidden." Dozens of human ships that had been invisible during the entire battle suddenly appeared surrounding the Confederation fleet. These vessels showed technology that made the aliens' equipment look primitive by comparison. Tech specialist Bae Hana spoke from her station aboard the Shadow's Edge. "Admiral, your fleet's computer systems are now completely under our control. We can shut down life support, fire your weapons, or activate your self-destruct systems at will." The revelation was complete. Humanity had not only survived the alien attempt at conquest, but had demonstrated technological superiority that rendered the Confederation fleet helpless. Ships that had been patrolling Earth's system for weeks had been infiltrated and compromised, without their crews ever realizing it. "How long?" Veltar asked in a voice that sounded defeated. "How long have you been watching us?" "Since before you entered our solar system," Captain Han replied. "We have been preparing for this moment for 30 years, ever since we first detected your signals from distant stars." Major Oh Seung-min's voice joined the conversation. "My Marines have been aboard your ships for weeks, Admiral. We know everything. About your technology, your tactics, and your weaknesses." The scope of human deception began to dawn on the alien commanders. They had not been facing a primitive species defending their home, but walking into a carefully prepared trap that had been generations in the making. "The demonstration you witnessed at Mars was our doing," Bae Hana continued. "Your weapons never touched the planet. We simply made you think they had while recording your willingness to commit genocide." President Yu Minhyuk's voice suddenly echoed through the hijacked alien communication systems. "Attention, Confederation fleet. This is the President of Earth. You came to our system expecting to find helpless primitives. Instead, you have discovered that humanity has been aware of the galactic community far longer than you realized." The President's words carried across space to every ship in both fleets. "We allowed you to underestimate us because deception is often more effective than demonstration. Now you understand that any species attempting to subjugate humanity will face consequences they cannot imagine." Admiral Veltar sat in stunned silence as the magnitude of his defeat became clear. His fleet was helpless, his technology compromised, and his entire understanding of human capabilities proven completely wrong. "What happens now?" he finally asked. Captain Han Jong-soo smiled as he prepared to dictate humanity's terms to the galaxy. President Yu Minhyuk stood in the main communications center of Earth Defense Command as technicians prepared to broadcast humanity's message to the entire galaxy. The hijacked Confederation communication networks would carry his words to over 300 star systems and billions of alien beings who had never heard of humanity. "Mr. President, we are ready," the chief technician announced. "Every major communication relay in Confederation space is under our control." Yu nodded and stepped before the cameras that would transmit his image across the galaxy. Behind him, holographic displays showed the disabled alien fleet floating helplessly in Earth's solar system as proof of humanity's capabilities. "Citizens of the galaxy, I am President Yu Minhyuk, representing the human species of Earth. For 30 years we have watched your civilizations from the shadows, learning your languages, studying your technologies, and preparing for this moment." The President's words echoed through Confederation space, reaching species that had never imagined intelligent life could exist without their knowledge. On 1,000 worlds, alien leaders watched in amazement as a previously unknown species demonstrated technological superiority over their most powerful military force. The Galactic Trade Confederation came to our world demanding submission and threatening genocide if we refused. They believed humans were primitive animals, suitable only for slavery or extermination. They were wrong. Captain Han Jong-soo monitored alien communication networks from the bridge of the Shadow's Edge as the President's broadcast reached its targets. Panic was spreading through Confederation space as species realized their most powerful fleet had been defeated by beings they had never heard of. "Admiral, what are your orders?" Trade Minister Thex asked from his disabled ship. The Skordon leaders. Arrogance had vanished, completely replaced by fear and confusion. Admiral Veltar sat motionless in his command chair as the reality of his situation sank in. His entire career had been built on the assumption of Confederation superiority, and now he faced a species that had made his technology look like toys. "We surrender," Veltar said quietly. "We formally surrender to human authority." "A wise decision," Captain Han replied. "Your crews will be treated well, but your ships will remain under our control until new agreements can be reached." Ambassador Kim Ji-won had arrived aboard the diplomatic vessel New Seoul to begin negotiations with the defeated alien leaders. She approached the task with the same patience she had shown during their first disastrous meeting, but now she held all the advantages. The Confederation's previous offer was 70% of Earth's resources in exchange for protection. Kim said as she addressed the alien commanders via holographic link. Humanity's counteroffer is significantly different. She activated displays showing the new terms humanity was prepared to offer. All Confederation military forces will withdraw from human space immediately. Trade relationships will be established on terms of complete equality, with no species holding authority over others. "And if we refuse?" asked the crystal being who had previously dismissed humans as potential servants. Dr. Choi Yunbi answered from her research station. "Your fleets throughout the galaxy are already compromised. The same nanobotic systems we used here have been spreading through your trade networks for weeks. We can disable your entire civilization whenever we choose." The scope of human preparation became clear as more details emerged. While the Confederation had been patrolling Earth's system, human agents had been infiltrating their entire civilization, using technology the aliens had never imagined possible. "How many of our worlds have you penetrated?" Veltar asked with growing. Horror tech specialist Behana smiled as she pulled up intelligence reports. "All of them, Admiral. Every major world in Confederation space now contains human surveillance systems and control mechanisms. We have been planning this moment for 3 decades. Major Oh Shungmin added his own report. "My marine teams have identified and infiltrated critical infrastructure on 237 worlds. Power generation, communication networks, transportation systems, and military installations are all accessible to human control." The revelation that humanity had not only defeated their fleet, but had secretly conquered their entire civilization, sent shockwaves through the alien leadership. They had walked into a trap that had been generations in the making. "What do you want from us?" Trade Minister Thex asked in defeat. President Yu's voice answered as his broadcast continued across the galaxy. "Humanity wants peace, cooperation, and mutual respect among all intelligent species. We will not become conquerors like the Confederation, but neither will we accept subjugation from anyone." Engineer Chief Yoon Tae-hyun demonstrated human technological capabilities by temporarily restoring power to one of the alien ships. "Your vessels will be returned to you once new treaties are signed. We have no desire to keep what belongs to others, but we will not tolerate future aggression." The negotiations proceeded quickly as the defeated aliens realized they had no choice but to accept human terms. The Confederation that had ruled the galaxy for centuries was dissolved and replaced with a new Galactic Council, where all species would have equal representation. The new galactic government will be based on principles of cooperation rather than domination, Ambassador Kim announced. No species will hold authority over others, and disputes will be resolved through negotiation rather than force. Admiral Kang Hyun-woo oversaw the transfer of alien prisoners back to their ships as the defeated fleet prepared to return to their home worlds. Each vessel carried human observers who would ensure compliance with the new treaties. "Admiral, I must ask," Veltar said as he prepared to depart. "How long have humans really been capable of space travel?" Kang smiled at the question. "Our first successful faster-than-light test was 45 years ago. We have been exploring the galaxy longer than the Confederation has existed, but we chose to remain hidden until we were ready to reveal ourselves." The truth was even more shocking than the aliens had imagined. Humanity had not been a primitive species discovering space travel, but an advanced civilization that had deliberately concealed its capabilities while studying potential threats. Captain Han Jong-soo watched the alien fleet depart Earth's solar system, knowing that humanity's secret was finally revealed to the galaxy. The Shadow's Edge and her sister ships would soon be patrolling trade routes and establishing human presence throughout known space. "Captain, what are our orders?" Lieutenant Nam Soo-young asked as they prepared to follow the departing aliens. "We have new worlds to visit and new species to meet," Han replied. "The galaxy is about to learn that humanity is no longer hiding." As the human fleet dispersed to begin establishing Earth's presence throughout the galaxy, President Yu concluded his historic broadcast to alien civilizations everywhere. "To all species who receive this message, humanity extends an offer of friendship and cooperation. We will defend ourselves against aggression, but we prefer to build rather than destroy. The galaxy is large enough for all of us to prosper if we work together." Dr. Choi Yunbi monitored alien communication networks as the president's message reached distant worlds. "Sir, we are receiving thousands of responses from species throughout the galaxy. Most are expressing interest in establishing diplomatic contact with humanity. The revelation that humans possessed advanced technology and had been secretly observing galactic civilization for decades sparked a revolution in interstellar politics. Species that had been subjugated by the Confederation began asserting their independence while others sought protection under the new human-led galactic order. "The old galaxy is ending," Admiral Kang observed as he watched the last alien ships disappear into hyperspace. "What comes next will be something entirely new." Engineer Chief Yoon Tae-hyun made final adjustments to the Shadow's Edge as they prepared for their first official mission beyond Earth's solar system. "Captain, we are ready to begin establishing human outposts throughout the galaxy." Han nodded and gave the order that would mark humanity's emergence as a galactic power. "All ships prepare for departure. It is time to show the galaxy what humans can accomplish when we are no longer hiding in the shadows." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire species into a galaxy that would never be the same. Humanity had revealed itself not as conquerors, but as the guardians of a new age where intelligence and cooperation would triumph over brute force and domination. The aliens had laughed at humans until their most dangerous ship was exposed, but now the laughter belonged to humanity as they began building a better future among the stars.